Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this seed bead bracelet with the letters that go squiggly. So it's a super cool pattern, a good way to show off your beading skills, and pretty fun. So let's get started. Okay, so you're going to first need letter beads. You're going to need whatever kind of seed beads that you want. I'm going to use some chunkier ones. And then you're going to want stretchy string. So the brand I have is just one I got from the craft store. It's this brand and it's 0.6, but it is white instead of black, or see-through instead of black. So I'm going to cut out two that are about like how I just measured is I put them around my wrist and I saw, okay, I could tie with that extra amount of space. So this is like probably about a foot or a little bit shorter. And then I'm going to tie the top of the two as close to the top as I can in, well, not as close as I can, but so that I have enough tying space in a little loop right here. Not doing that, so you're just gonna want to pull it really tight. And then I also like to take these two and tie them together twice, and I feel like that helps to not have that move around as much. Now I'm using a thicker elastic, so that piece right there is going to be pretty thick. So if you don't want that to be seen, you'll have to have your own solution. But yeah, this is just what I do for this bracelet. And then you can either tape this down, or you can just work with it as is. So you're going to want to start out by beading on multiple of your normal beads onto both strings. Okay, as I was making this, I ran into some technical difficulties because I hadn't used 0.6 string, I had used 0.8 string, so it was too big for my beads. So now I've replaced it. I've done the same exact thing that I showed you, but with smaller string. So our next step is we are going to add like 3, 4 or 5 beads to the bottom string. So we're not stringing them on both anymore. We're only stringing them on one side. I'm probably gonna do 4. We'll test that out and we'll see if we like it or not. It kind of depends on the size of your beads, I find. Okay, then on the other string, we're going to put our first letter. We want to make sure they're all the right direction as well. So then we're gonna pinch together the strings at the end of each bead. So that's what this is gonna look like. I think 4 beads is a good amount. So now I'm going to take both strings again, and we're gonna stick a bead onto both strings and pull it all the way down. So there we go. And then here is also where you want to decide if you want that on the top or the bottom, because we're going to be doing alternating. So I think I'm gonna start it on the bottom and go to the top. So now I want to take them, separate them. We're gonna put more beads on this top one now, and then we're gonna put our letter bead on this bottom one. So I am going to put the A on that bottom one. And then I'm going to string 4 more beads on this top one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I'm going to position it on top, and then I'm going to take the 2 strings and we're going to string 1 bead on the 2 of them. And we pulled it together. So as you can see, it's coming along with a pretty cool pattern. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Separate the strings. I'm gonna put beads on this bottom one and the letter on the top one. So we're doing a T next. And then we're going to putting 4 beads on the bottom string. Then we're gonna do it on both strings again. Bam. And we're gonna keep going with the rest of the name. And then once you get to the full name, I will be back. Okay, I've made it to this point. I got all the letters that I want on there. I'm going to measure it on my wrist. It might be a different wrist size for the person I'm making it for. But in doing that, I'm just gonna kind of see if it's the length I want. If it's not, I'm going to add more beads onto both sides until it is the length that I want it to be. And then we will tie it. If you don't like which side the letters are on, you can just swap them over. So I'm just gonna make sure that mine are alternating. And then I'm going to be tying the ends of the bracelet together. So to do this, I'm gonna take all 4, 2 in each hand, and I'm going to twist it around like that. Pull it, but not tight yet, because if I pull it tight, it'll mess up the beads. Then I'm gonna make another loop and pull those 2 through. And then I'm gonna tighten that as much as I can. Just one of that is not gonna hold. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take 1 from each side, and I'm gonna tie those together in a double knot, so twice. 1, 2, and then I'm going to do it with the other ones that I didn't tie before. And then I'm going to pull pretty tight, and it should be secure. If you want to do any more knots, you can just add extra knots. For me, I'm just going to add some super glue. And I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to take off the extra strings right there.